What's going on, everybody? This is Jeff with Living in Arizona, and today we're going to talk about people's biggest fears in living in Arizona, moving to Arizona. I got this nice little stain here. I was driving around my neighborhood, and yeah, I just noticed I have this little stain on my shirt. Anyways, if you're excited about this video, crush up the likes, and let's talk about the things that people are most concerned about or fear the most about moving to Arizona. How do we know this? Well, on our group, Living in Arizona on Facebook, we got 313 comments from people who were very chatty about this subject. And I'm going to go through a list of about 11 things that were the most common subjects that came up. So let's go ahead and dive in here and talk about this. If you're new to this channel, you can also subscribe and turn on the bell to get notified when we do these live feeds. So the one that came up the most, well, there was a couple of them, but the one that kept coming up probably more than anything was scorpions. Scorpions and snakes. These are the things that people really fear the most about living in Arizona, moving to Arizona. Don't ask me why. Well, actually, I do know why. Because they see these videos and they see these pictures from other people who live in Arizona who like to show off scorpions. So whenever they get a black light, they get these black lights out and they shine them on the ground. Whatever turns purple is a scorpion, right? And my neighborhood here, we do not have scorpions, but the next neighbor over here, they might have a lot of scorpions, like hundreds of them, because once scorpions set up shop, they like become very prevalent. And scorpions, they don't migrate, so they just stay in one place. So once you got an infestation of scorpions, you really got to get rid of them. And then once you get rid of them, you know, you could call the Orkin Man, or you could call, there's one called Bulwark. I think Bulwark's really good at getting these scorpions, at least they claim to be. The other one is the snakes. And so, you know, you get these pictures of people posting, even in our group, Living in Arizona on Facebook, you get pictures of people like, hey, check out this rattlesnake. Did you see this rattlesnake today? I was out on a hike. Did you see this rattlesnake on my front porch? People really get scared about rattlesnakes, rightfully so. I mean, if you ever see a rattlesnake, you just step away very calmly and call animal control, and they should come out and get it. The old-fashioned way, the old desert dwellers, the desert rats, as we like to call them, the old people from Arizona, they would just take a shovel and, you know, do the old thing. But PETA, animal rights, you can't do that. But that's the old way people used to do, is they would just take the shovel and chop off the snake's head. But also when you're doing that, that's dangerous for you. But I'm just saying, that's, you'll see there's stories. People got rattlesnake on a piece of wood like this, and they hang it up on their wall and say, yeah, that rattlesnake was the one that was on my front porch last summer, you know. But you can't do that. You got to call animal control. The next thing that keeps coming up is people are scared of the heat. I mean, it's one thing to be hot, but we get real hot, right? Here it is, May. We've already hit 100 degrees. People are really concerned about this heat. I say this because I see it a lot. You know, they get a little taste of it and they're like, it's not that bad. And then it goes over about 104, 105. And then all of a sudden they're like, whoa, I don't know what's going on. That's why you have snowbirds here. Thanks to the 18 people who crushed up the likes, by the way. Also, if you guys haven't already seen my other videos that I posted on here, I did post some videos about best mobile apps. You guys asked me for that video about the best mobile apps that I use, like Nextdoor, Ring, Postmates, Instacart, all those apps, but it didn't look like anyone really watched it. So, I mean, you guys were saying, yes, please tell me about the apps. I make the video and no one really watched it. So if you guys want me to make videos like that, you got to watch them. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it because no one's going to watch them. But yeah, to me, it's the best apps, mobile apps. I mean, everyone's got a cell phone. If you don't know what the best mobile apps in 2020 are, that video is going to tell you. So anyway, it doesn't matter. I put in a lot of work on that to get those apps for you. Instacart, Postmates, all those ones, right? I even gave you guys some pretty good ones about like PlantSnap, and the one about the constellations, the app that you can get all the constellations. So you might like that. All right, so the next one is the heat, right? So it gets really hot here. They're worried that their air conditioner is going to give out. They're like, what happens if my air conditioner fails? What happens if the power goes out? This and that. And so you can get backup plans for that. But you know, you want to have AC in your car. You want to have AC in your house. Central cooling is what I recommend. Fans are also good backup plans. Get a fan or two in case, you know, you have an issue. But at night, it gets really nice at night. So you'll always have nice nights, because we're a high desert. So it'll be 110 in the day and then 85, 80 at night, but no sunshine, just beautiful weather. Like the nights in Arizona in the summer are always beautiful. It's like you could even be nocturnal, you know, like get a job that allows you to be a night owl, or work the graveyard shift, or be a night, you know, something like that. The next one that kept coming up was water shortage. People here, they watch YouTube videos, they watch, Smithsonian or Harvard or some big big, I don't know, institution give a presentation about Arizona and a water shortage. Okay. So people see that and they're like, oh my gosh, is Arizona going to run out of water? If I move out to Arizona, are we going to be in a drought? Are we going to, is Lake Mead going to go dry? What happens if the Colorado stops running? But this conversation has been going on for a long time. From what I understand is Arizona has plenty of water, backup water, at least according to the governor. He said that we have a lot of backup water supplies in the water table. And also, even though Lake Mead is low, and it was low, they've got enough water here. So the idea that overpopulation is going to lead to more of a water shortage in Arizona, I wouldn't fear about that too much. I'm not going to say it couldn't happen. I mean, who knows if a severe drought, like right now, we haven't had rain since I think like early April, maybe even March. I mean, that's a long time to go because we likely won't see rain until the monsoon season in June, July at best. So we'll see. We'll see. But I did see somewhere where they said that it's possible we could be in for a polar vortex, bipolar vortex, where we actually, this was, don't quote me on this, but some scientific study said that we're going to actually see possibly freezing temperatures in summer as some sort of solar flares on the sun are not present. And scientists are saying that it's possible we're going to have one of the coldest summers on record. And now I know global warming scientists those global warming people are going to get all up in arms and be like, see, I told you global cooling was happening. I don't know. I'm staying out of that. Another thing that reminds me, people are really scared about the politics in Arizona. Like, this is something that I don't think that any state is immune to the politics. Like, whether you're in California or Texas or Florida or New York, if you're scared of politics, it's no better or worse here in Arizona. I mean, if you're a Democrat, it's not like you're going to be having too much problems. If you're a Republican, you're not going to have too much problems. Yeah, there's going to be people who are going to say, you're the dumbest person I ever met in my whole life. Like, they talk like that, right? Because whatever your political affiliation is, whatever your political affiliation here is, don't be scared about it. It's like, keep it to yourself. If you don't want to get into the conversation, just don't talk about it. The second you start talking about it, no matter what state you're in, no matter where you're at, you're opening up Pandora's box and you're going to have to deal with it. If you don't talk about it, it's just there in front of you and no one knows. So if you're really scared of politics in Arizona, I would say just don't talk about it. The next thing that kept coming up was driving. People are really scared of driving. I mean, this came up more than anything that I didn't expect. This was the one that I didn't expect to see the most, but people are like, they're concerned that Arizona has crazy drivers. They're concerned that people drive extremely fast out here. And that's true. People do drive very fast out here because we're urban sprawl. So in order to go from Glendale to Gilbert, you got to get on a freeway. And some people like to really just open up and go full throttle. It doesn't matter what they're driving, a motorcycle, Harley Davidson, or a dually truck, or a SUV, or a Tesla. They're hauling butt. I mean, this is just the way it is. We're urban sprawl, so driving is a little bit of a thing, but people were kind of mentioning that. The next thing that I saw was crime. So people are concerned about crime. They hear things, they see things. They're like, is Arizona safe? Is it dangerous? Sure. Some parts of Arizona are not safe. Some parts of Arizona are safe. If you're really concerned about crime and all that, I would say, if you need a safe place, your best bet is going to be like Gilbert, Queen Creek, Santan Valley. You also get it pretty safe out in Verrado, out in the West Valley. You also get it pretty safe up in far north Phoenix, anything north of the 101. So if you're really worried about crime, if you're going to those inner city places, that's where the population density is. That's where the transients live. Transients being people who sleep outside, people who are on drugs. What ends up happening here in Arizona is people get on drugs, they become homeless, and then they just kind of become like zombies on the street. And those are the people that, kind of, you'll be outside, you'll be in your bed in your apartment complex, and you'll hear screaming and yelling people at 1 o'clock in the morning, and you don't know who the heck it is. Well, it's people on drugs who are, they don't even know what time it is because they're all yacked out on some crazy stuff. And sometimes they wake up the next morning, or you hear an ambulance or a fire truck because one of them just knocked them off. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you get in, like, because meth is really a big thing in Phoenix. And yeah, it happens. but that's a big thing, especially in West Phoenix. Central West Phoenix, that's where there's going to be a large population of criminal activity. Okay, we're talking like I-17 south of the 101, that whole area there. So if you don't want crime, you need to move to Gilbert, Scottsdale, North Phoenix, far North Phoenix. But Southeast Phoenix is pretty much a safe place to be if you're a good person, or what I mean, if you're not into crime or criminal activity, you want to be out here in Southeast Phoenix. All right, so the next thing, Anthem's another safe place. Another thing that people are actually concerned about is dating. They're like, oh, if I move out here, am I going to be single forever? I don't know how the people are. Are they going to be nice? Are they going to be friendly? You know, this and that. You know, crime or dating, it's easy out here. I mean, some people love it. I think if you just go out, you go out downtown Tempe, Mill Avenue, downtown Scottsdale, downtown Gilbert, even Peoria, you know, out there by Arrowhead, I'd be surprised if you stayed single for too long. I mean, I would say this is one of the better cities in America to be single. There could be a little bit of acclimation, like you might be bringing a different vibe than whatever's here. But once you get in step with the vibe that's out here, you'll start to figure out like how to date and get along. If you're like a fish out of water and you just don't understand what the fabric is or the text, what it is that makes Arizona, you might have a little bit of a hard time. But if you get in sync with the culture out here, or some people say the lack of culture, but the culture, you'll like it. That's another thing. People are concerned about moving out here because they think we're a dry culture. We lack culture. We don't have culture. That's sort of true, but also not true. Let me explain. So we get a lot of people from other places. We're the fastest growing county in America last 2 years. Maricopa County is. It's where Phoenix is. And what happens is you get people from Chicago, you get people from Florida, you get people from back east, you get people from California. They all move out here. They bring a different vibe, and everyone's kind of like, "Hey, where are you from?" And it's like going to boot camp. You know, everyone's from a different place, and you're like all neighbors, but like 50% of your community is from out of state. So because of that, there's this like feeling of like, well, what are we? What's our identity? Well, I'll tell you, the closer you are to Central Phoenix, there is more of an identity. And it used to be, we were a really big sports city. We were big on the Phoenix Suns. We loved our Diamondbacks. We love our Cardinals. Even the Coyotes get a little kick, the Sun Devils, University of Arizona. Lately, we haven't had a very good go at it with sports. We're due big time. I mean, to be the fastest growing city. So what I encourage is, if you do come out here, get on board with the local sports teams. Like, that's fine. Be all good with the Cubbies. Be all good with the Mets. Be all good with the Red Sox. Be all good with the Patriots or whatever your team is. But get on board with the local team. That's how you get in sync with rise. As we call it, the Red Sea. They say the Red Sea rise up. That's the Cardinals in the Big Toaster. That's the big Arizona Cardinals Stadium, indoor stadium, beautiful place to watch a game. We call it Bank One Ballpark, but now it's called Chase Field. Another beautiful place to watch a game. So if you get a chance, go to those games. Even the Suns. It's really hard for me to say go to a Suns game. Thank you to the 37 people who crushed up the likes, by the way. Oh, the Phoenix Mercury. That's the WNBA team. You're right, Freedom Tribe. Supreme Comedian. What's the cost to attend an MLB or an NBA game? I think like a MLB game, I remember they used to do dollar tickets to Bank One Ballpark, which is where the Diamondbacks played back in the 90s. I don't know what the equivalent of a dollar ticket is, but I'd imagine that you could get some pretty cheap tickets to go see the D-backs. Another for the NBA, it seemed like they were kind of expensive. And the one team that I'm really not too thrilled with out here is the Phoenix Suns, and mostly because of the ownership. When Jerry Colangelo was in charge of the Phoenix Suns, we were great. Okay. But this new guy, he just has never had any luck. Anyway, so the other one that people were concerned about is income tax. Now, why in the heck would they be concerned about income tax? It's not like, well, yeah, it is actually. I was going to say it's not like that's too big of a deal, but apparently it is. But at the same time, we don't have income tax. We also don't have the highest property tax, whereas like people from Texas, I think they don't pay any income tax to the state, but they have to pay these incredibly high real estate taxes for their property, and they complain about that. So it's you know, it's like kind of one of those things. Nevada, another place you don't pay state income tax, but you might have some other taxes, hidden taxes that you got to make up for. But Nevada is a state that takes in a lot of gaming revenue because of Vegas and Reno, right? Um, but people are concerned. They hear that Arizona has high taxes, although it doesn't. Even Jeff S says income tax lowest in AZ, 4.5%. I mean, yeah, I don't know why people are getting too worked up about income tax in Arizona. Property taxes are not too bad. I mean, maybe the HOA is considered some sort of tax that people are fearing because people don't like those HOAs. We talked about that in the last video, right? Another thing that people are actually concerned about is overcrowded. Are we getting overcrowded? Being that we were the fastest growing city in the country, you know, are we growing too fast for our own good? With that fast growth comes that concern again about the water shortage, about the crime, about the lack of culture, about the lack of community. But actually, here in Santan Valley, everyone's coming together. In this area in my neighborhood, they're playing kickball at the park right now. They were like, "Hey Jeff, why don't you come out and play kickball?" Or they call it slosh ball. They were playing at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we're talking the whole community out there with the kids and everything. Some people having beers, some people not because they're religious affiliation. But either way, I mean, people were coming together. They were going out of their way to be friends and have fun together in the community. But like I said, because it's getting hot, they're doing it at night now. So the other one was finding work. People are concerned that when they come out here, where are they going to work? They're like, how's the job market in Arizona? That's why you guys got to watch my other channel. I did make another video about this. It's called side hustles, as they like to call it, right? So what a side hustle is a part of the gig economy. Are you guys familiar with the gig economy? And so there's a bunch of different ways you can make money online. And I just made a video about this on my other channel. And let me see if I can get it for you. So the gig economy side hustle. And there's a lot of ways you guys can make money on here. And I went over a lot of them. Everything from DoorDash to Wag Dog Walking to Uber, Lyft, Grubhub, Ibotta, Postmates, Turo rental car, rent your own car, TaskRabbit, Sitter, Fope, Airbnb, Udemy. And the list goes on. Fiverr. Here's the link to that video. I will post that in the comments, but there it is right there. If you guys are really struggling and looking for jobs, get into the gig economy. I mean, the gig economy is really popular. It's going to continue to get more popular. And the more you dabble in it and learn how to make money on the internet, it'll at least provide some layer of protection for you. And guess what? Driving for Uber, driving for Lyft is not the only thing you have to do in order to make money. That one I was even talking about called, let me see if I can get the name for you. It's called TaskRabbit. TaskRabbit is an app. Again, you guys were asking me for these apps. I went out and found all these. Now you guys got to watch the video so you know what the heck these trendy apps that everyone's using around the world or around America are. But TaskRabbit is where you could, like, let's just say you needed a TV mounted on your wall. You're like, how do I get a hold of a handyman? How do I get a hold of a handyman? Well, you go on to TaskRabbit and you find a handyman on that app, and they'll come install that for you. Or if you need a babysitter to watch your kids because you guys want to go out and you need to take an Uber somewhere. I mean, all of this being done through the gig economy. And that's all going to be in that video that I made there. So anyways, thanks to the 47 people who crushed up the likes. You guys should watch that gig economy video if you haven't already on my other channel, Urban J Reviews. Subscribe over there if you like that type of content. Now I'm going to field some questions. Running at altitude. Apple is opening a new plant to build chips in Arizona. Yes, I believe that's over in Eastmark in East Mesa, another good area that you should check out if you're thinking about moving to Arizona. Drunken Chef says Cali culture is a lot faster pace. Yeah, except for when you get onto the freeway, then you're like, whoa, dude, slow down. Like the roads out here, you know, people are like, they'll drive right up on you and they'll get like this close and they'll be going like 70 miles an hour. And you'll be like, dude, I got to get over. You're going to go 70 to hurry up and get to that stoplight. I mean, that'll kind of make you feel like, why you got to be so fast paced out here on the roads, Arizona? But that's just the way people are, I guess. Anyways, remember, we're not going to do too much politics because one of the quickest ways to start an argument or push people away is to talk about politics. I've noticed that in our Facebook group, people will come in, they'll have the most positive attitude, and then someone from some political affiliation comes in with their political stuff, and then people are like, I got to get out of here because everyone's politicking. Well, no, we're not. We talk about everything other than politics in our group. Living in Arizona on Facebook. If you haven't already joined, feel free to join, and we'll see you over there. And thanks to everyone for watching. We'll see you on the next one.